Hello! Welcome to a very exciting video. It is my second rule change of my TBR Zero project. If you are new here, I'm Julianne and I have been doing TBR Zero for 20 whole months now. I am into month 21, and one of the rules that I set at the very start of this project was that every 50 books that I read from my TBR I could do a rule change. So I have now finished the second 50 books and I'm getting to do a rule change for the second time. So when I started the project I set a load of rules and I immediately forgot all of them. And when I did the second rule change I decided to simplify it and only have one rule, and that one rule was that for every single non-TBR book I read I had to read one from my TBR. So by non-TBR I counted things like books borrowed from the library, be they audiobooks, ebooks or physical books, books that I borrowed off of other people, NetGalley books, you name it. If it wasn't a book that I owned in print, it counted as a non-TBR book. So I thought that this would work really well for me getting my TBR down. However, what I didn't reckon on was that at the same time I was trying to listen to all of the books that I wanted to listen to in the Audible Plus catalogue, because I'd had an Audible subscription for a while and I wanted to be able to get rid of it. I wanted to spend all my remaining credits and then cancel the subscription. But first I wanted to make the most out of having access to the Plus catalogue. So I had this great big TBR which I managed to whittle down by looking up what books I could get from the library instead and things like that, and what was on Spotify and all of that stuff. And eventually I did manage to get to Audible Plus catalogue TBR Zero, but it took up such a huge amount of time that it took me 10 months to read those second 50 books. Now, I'm a fast reader. Last year I think I read something in the region of 170 books. The year before that I read 200. So taking 10 months to read 50 books on my TBR felt very long. And I found it really frustrating, to be honest, because I was not seeing the progress on my shelves that I thought I should. Once I had kicked the Audible habit, once I'd reached Audible TBR Zero, progress on the rest of my project really started to speed up considerably. And as I was approaching the end of that second 50 books, I started to think, you know what? I think I'm going to have to make the rules stricter next time. I think I am going to have to make it so that I have to read 2 TBR books from every one that I don't read. And I thought at first, oh my god, this is such a challenging idea. This is going to be so difficult. I don't think I can do it. I think that is too much. I think I should just stick with what I've got. But then I thought, I'm wasting a rule change opportunity here. I should really change some rule, and that's really my only rule, so I've got to change that one, right? I thought, oh yeah, I've got to do it for YouTube. I've got to make it different for YouTube. And then I thought, if I have to read 2 TBR books for every non-TBR book, then I will get through that 50 books a lot faster. Because I had to read 100 books, right, to get to the end of the last 50 books. But with reading 2 for 1, I only have to read 75 books total. So it should happen a lot faster. And the more I thought about this, the more I liked the idea. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to dare myself. I'm just going to dare myself to do it. And so that is the new regime. This is my little chart. So here I have basically written 1, 2 star, 3, 4 star, 5, 6 star. And what I am determined to do as much as possible this time is to read the break books, the non-TBR books, only after I've earned them. So I got out of sync several times during the last version of the project, and I really don't want to do that here. And so far I have stuck to it. I have not touched those treat books until I have earned them. This might get a bit tricky when I have like book club books to read, because I'll just have to read them when I have to read them. But for now, I'm sticking to it. It's working, and I'm really pleased. The other thing that I've done is, since very early on in this project, I have been trying to work my way through my Illumicrate backlog. So Illumicrate, if you're not aware, is a book subscription box, and I have been subscribed since the very beginning because I know the founder of the company. We were in a book club together and I helped pack some of those early boxes, and so I have been a fan from the start. Multiple of my friends now work for Illumicrate. I kind of starting to feel like the odd one out, to be honest. I did eventually stop getting the full box with all the items in it because I just was starting to get kind of duplicates of things and I wasn't fully appreciating what I had. But I went book only, and even going book only, I was struggling to stay on top of it. So I decided that I was going to try and get through my Illumicate backlog. That was going to be like my top priority for TBR books. But I found that really restrictive in the end. So I haven't completely abandoned the idea. Like, if I don't know what to read and I have no ideas, I will just go look at my list of Illumicate books that I haven't read yet and pick one of those. But I'm not going to force myself, like I did at some points in the last 50 books, because it just doesn't work. I need to be able to follow my moods and read what I want to read. And with that in mind, I've talked about this before, embracing the concept of having a smorgasbord of books, a charcuterie board of books. So Ariel Bissett mentioned this on the Books Unbound podcast, and as soon as I heard it, I was like, you know what? That is a really good way of looking at it, because I'd felt bad about having multiple books am I currently reading. But actually, now I've lent into it, now I've embraced having multiple books on the go, it is working for me. It is incredible. I'm getting through books so much faster because I can just pick one that I'm in the mood for at the time and read that. I'm trying to rein it on the fiction and not have too many fiction books on the go, because I know what happens. I just will basically abandon one and never come back to it. But non-fiction wise, I'm trying to have like a dense non-fiction book on the go and then a lighter, fluffier, easier non-fiction book on the go. So if it's late at night and I want to read non-fiction because fiction's just too exciting, but I don't want to read something difficult and heavy, I have the light one, and I have been going through those so fast, and it feels really, really good. But at the same time, making slow progress on the more challenging, denser ones, so that I know that eventually I'll get to the end and I'll feel really good that I completed this book, even if it took me months and months and months. So yeah, I'm embracing the smorgasbords. So I'm putting the smorgasbord into the rules. So on the go at any one time, I have to have at least one fiction book and at least 2 non-fiction books, 1 denser one and 1 lighter one, so I have plenty of choice. I might even, when I eventually find where I put my poetry books, and I tried looking for them the other day and I could not find them, also have a poetry book on the go. I think that would be really nice. But for now, that's my smorgasbord. I'm embracing it, I'm rolling with it, and I think it will compensate for having such strict rules about what books I can read when. Like, I think embracing the smorgasbord will make you feel freer even when I'm actually being more constrained in another way. So there we go, that's my new rules. Please let me know what you think of them in the comments. Please also let me know if you're doing a TBR Zero project or anything similar, how you're getting along. Have you changed up the rules as you've gone through? I sort of decided from the very beginning that I would want to change the rules, so I allowed myself to switch them up every 50 books. And if this is not something that you've done, I would really encourage you to do it, because it lets me look critically at my progress so far and make changes to adjust and pivot and all of that exciting stuff to try and push myself forward to read more books faster. So there we go. That's it. Kicking off the next 50 books. My rule for the previous 50 books was to have a takeaway, which I still have not managed because my favourite restaurant keeps on being shut. But fingers crossed I achieve it in the next couple of weeks. Have my takeaway, have my little celebratory moment to make me feel good, and I'm going to see how many books I can read before I manage to do that. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more from me. You will see me again soon. Bye!